G'day folks, it's DIY Guy 123 here. Today I'm bringing you another do-it-yourself video. I've got a few chickens and I've noticed that the egg, I thought the egg production was going down, but we actually saw an incident yesterday that's causing me to redo my nesting boxes. We saw an egg get kicked out of the nesting box, and then as soon as it landed on the floor, two of the hens ran after it. One ate the shell and one ate the yolk right in front of us, so we couldn't believe it. So anyway, I guess that's the thing that happens sometimes. So I'm going to make a roll-away nesting box. Now, I've seen designs for these, and people, you can buy these things on the internet pre-built. I've seen other people make them, but the ones that I've seen made, they either have the bottom shelf flat and they put paint trays in it, which I think is a pretty neat idea, except to check the paint trays at my local hardware store and they were $7 a piece, or maybe more than that, by almost $10 by the time you have tax on them. And I need 4 of them. And so that's, $40 that I didn't really want to spend. And also I thought, well, why do I have to have paint trays to set the angle? Why can't I just build the base as an angle? So that's what I'm going to do. And that saves a whole surface of plywood. I cut this piece out. Of course, I need enough space for the eggs, and I don't know how many eggs are going to be in one place because the chickens don't understand the concept of even distribution. So they'll likely pick the same nesting box and a bunch of them lay in that spot. So you want to have the collecting part large enough to have, well, I want it to be able to have 2 eggs like this. So on their end, even though I know they'll probably roll like that, the 2 like this, and 1 tall. So if an egg gets stuck like that, I really want the rolling part to be successful, and I don't want to fetch up on the the compartment that it's rolling into. So anyway, this piece right here is going to be about 2 times as long as an egg, or about 5 inches. So 5 inches this way, which is going to collect the eggs, and then you want 12 inches above that. In fact, horizontally, you want 12 inches for depth. And by the way, the other thing that I haven't seen in many of the other videos is the chickens enter from the front and the eggs are retrieved from the front. But I'm going to do it where the chickens enter from the back and the eggs are retrieved from the back in a way that it doesn't disturb one of the chickens if it's still laying and I go to check for the eggs. So hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing there, and maybe it'll help you out. So 5 inches here for eggs, and then 12 inches for the bird to sit in. So I'm going to cut a few pieces and we'll see how it goes. Of course, every nesting box, depending on the size of your chickens, they say 10 to 14 inches, something like that. If you have them too big, 2 chickens will get into the same box and try and lay. So I don't know if you really want them any wider than 12 inches, but if you put them more narrow than 10 and you have a big chicken, maybe it can't turn around when it gets in there. So I don't know. Anyway, 12 inches is what they say. And so that's what I'm going with, 12 inches wide, and I'll get 4 of them out of this piece of plywood. Okay, so I've got the sides built, and as you can see on the bottom, I've got some feet there so that it's not going to rock if there's material in the middle of the thing. And I've also got a piece of 1.5 by 1.5 just screwed on there as a support for the shelf, and that's what I'm going to drop the shelf on. So this is actually all reclaimed material from the nesting boxes that I took apart. I really enjoy using up old scraps of stuff that many would consider garbage. Just to keep the cost down on projects like this. One unique thing about the design I've got here is this support right here is screwed to this with only 2 screws, 1, 2, for now anyway. What I can do, and of course this shelf is only going to be screwed to that. So if I find out later that the angle is not right, the eggs are rolling too fast, or they're getting hung up on stuff. A sec. I can change the angle by removing a screw here. Only one screw, you don't need to take them both. I just take one out, say the back one, and take the back one out here, and I'll be able to tilt this whole deck to change the angle. So I think that flexibility is really, really going to be, you know, hopefully helpful. We've advanced a little bit. I've got the nesting box folded over, got all my shelves cut, and from my side I've got screws. You can't see them on your side of the camera, but I've got screws all preset, ready to go into the bottoms of these shelves. So let's stand this up. Let's see what we got here. Still a bit wobbly this way. Of course, I don't want to be putting any big forces on it there. Okay, so I'm not going to drive those screws in super hard, because if you drive a screw in lengthwise on a piece of plywood, you're likely to split it. Don't want to do that. And it doesn't need, it's only to keep a chicken from pushing that over. So really, it's a pretty minor force that would ever be on there for you to do this. I don't know if you saw that. Pretty almost went into my finger. You could pre-drill these if you really wanted to. Again, I'm not screwing them in very hard. Also, because if I want to make, these are kind of wide. I just, the way it worked out, piece of plywood I had, it was like 56 inches wide or something. So these are really wide nesting boxes, and if I ever get more chickens, or they seem to be all of them want to lay at the same time or something, I can always you know, move these around and get an extra nesting box if I shorten some of them. Shorten the ones that are there. I get 5, that's what I'm saying. I've got a little bar here. It's not really intended to be a roosting bar, because the roosting bars are going to be taller than this, so I'm hoping that the chickens only use this to get into. So I'm gonna have a little ramp along here. They'll hop up, and then not the coop, but the nesting boxes, and they'll go into the nesting boxes and go in. At least that's the plan. And then the back end is all blocked off, and you can see I'm missing a piece here, but really I'm cobbling it together with whatever leftover pieces of anything that I have. And so so far I think I'm pretty good with the angle for the shelf. I've got my little catchy thing here. I've yet to put a cover on it, but I will get to that. Oh, and I put this on here, just I'm hoping it's too steep and they won't want to go up there. So that's why this is here. I guess it also provides some privacy in the nesting boxes, but it's really intended to keep them from roosting up there, because I don't want them to be up there and poop up there, or poop on there and poop on the bar and all that. But here's my protected egg frame, and I'll put I see some people put carpet down there. I may do that. I can't get that done tonight, but we'll just throw some sawdust in and see what happens.
Okay, so here we are with the roll-away nesting box all installed, and I'll show you. When I say they enter the box from the back, what I'm talking about is between the wall and the box. So I'll just give you a look around how that goes. They walk along this little plank, and then they can get into these boxes. And I did put a little piece of carpet down there. And the carpet is it doesn't come all the way to the back. It stops, you know, inside the box, because it doesn't need to come all the way to the back. And if I put carpet here, it would kind of be too high and the clearance wouldn't be enough and the egg might not roll back. The other thing I noticed was I put a little bit of wood shavings right here. I actually meant to do something better and never got around to it. And that was to slow the eggs down so they don't roll and smack into this and then break. It's been working fine. So, you know, I guess if something's working, why bother changing it? I could put a little piece of foam or carpet there, but they usually lay in this nesting box. Even though we built 4, they always just pick their favorite. They haven't laid yet today, so I'm going to put the camera in here, see if I can catch it. Okay, so I came back and we've got a couple eggs there. Okay, let's let this camera roll and see how long it takes to catch an egg being laid. Okay, quick update on the coop here. So, as I've shown you in videos moments ago, the original design of the door and the tray or whatnot, the rollaway nest box tray, it came to here, which is about 5 inches past there, and to my complete surprise, the chickens could reach their necks out and roll the eggs back uphill. So today I extended it by about another 6 inches and lowered it a little so that the eggs will roll, you know, further away and down into this nest box extension. And so really this could have been much easier if I had known to do this in the first place. So I would recommend for any of you building a rollaway nest box, make sure that you give it at least 12 inches back here for the eggs to roll away. And if you do that, then, I mean, unless you're going to have 45 eggs here, they won't be able to get at them. So that was the deal there. And then of course I had to extend the door. I put a little hook here to hold the door up, and I just extended the door by a little bit as well. And I didn't catch a video today, but this is where the eggs were when I raised up the drawer, so they're rolling quite a distance away. That's great. Also, to keep the hens from roosting on the top of the nest box, I've put this piece of steel roofing. Is just a piece I had cut laying around. Didn't even have to cut it, it was the right length. And I screwed it down to the wood. I just put a wood screw and then a washer and then another backing piece of wood under it here and here and here, and then bent it vertical. So when they want to roost, they're going to come and land up here, and it's going to be very wobbly for them. Not to mention it's just a vertical surface, and I wouldn't say it's sharp if you just do that, but if I put my hand on it and dragged it along like this, it's certainly sharp enough to cut my hand. So hopefully all that added up will be uncomfortable for them and they won't do it. So that's the end of the chicken rollaway nesting box video. If you like my video,